Steve Gamache with the Chef Knives to Go Quickie Quick Look Product Video Comparison. I did a post in the customer review section of the Chef Knives to Go forums page, and I thought I'd shoot an accompanying video to that. So I wanted to compare three very similar knives. So they are all hand forged, hand hammered, hand finished, very similar weights, dimensions, and styles. All three have the curved neck choil combination into the imoto or neck, down into the choil, back part of the blade. So here we have the Anryu hammered blue number 2 Gyuto 210mm right here. We have the Anryu-Megumi hammered VG10 Gyuto right here, 210. And we have the Anryu-Megumi-Yuki white number 2 cord Gyuto 210 as well. And so we have stainless over blue number 2, reactive steel. We have, and I've got a little gnat right here. We have stainless over VG10 stainless on all stainless knife, and then we have stainless cladding with a little different finish called Najiji or pear skin finish over the top of a white number 2 reactive carbon steel core. The handling differences between these are subtle, but the Anryu probably has slightly heavier handle, so its balance point was just a little bit further back towards the handle than the other two. Not a lot, but pretty much really close to a pinch grip, if not slightly behind it. And it gave probably the most nimble feel of the three because that weight balance was very neutral on a pinch grip. The Megumi had a slightly more weight forward balance point, about right there. Again, we're not talking big differences here. So a little bit more blade heavy feel, a little bit more cutting power, not a lot. And the the Yuki was just about neck and neck with the Megumi, the Kawasaki, so those two are almost similar. It pretty much has to do, I believe, with handle weights because the blades themselves are so similar in size. Performance-wise, the Anryu has the thinnest tip out of these three, and it's pretty obvious that that tip is thinner when you really look at it. It's quite thin at the edge. So this one definitely goes through soft product the best out of the three by a fair margin. And things like onions and so on. So great performer on those kind of ingredients. The middle section of the blade performed quite well. It's pretty non-stick because of the nice grind of the blade geometry and also the hammered finish. And the Megumi was very, very similar in performance. The tip's not quite as thin. It's not ground. It's a touch thicker than the Anryu, so it didn't quite go through soft ingredients as well, although it did go through very well. And the middle section of the blade on this particular knife seemed to perform a little better than the Anryu hammered. It just flowed through product a little bit better, didn't wedge quite, and neither of them wedged much, but it wedged less and just went through product more smoothly. So an overall feel, I think I preferred this knife in terms of just overall cutting performance over the entire blade. But if you like a thinner tip, the Anryu is your knife. The non-stick performance is quite good on this, again with the hammered finish. The Masakage, for me, probably came in third on pure performance out of these three, cutting the same ingredients side by side. And it's got a really sharp edge from Melampus on it with a pretty aggressive bevel angle. Not super aggressive, but so it's definitely not that it's not sharp. So the tip went through probably third best out of these three, just going through ingredients, wedged a little bit more. And actually the middle part of the blade wedged a bit more as well on product, harder product. I think it has to do with more of a sharper fall off here at the shoulder versus these have a little bit more of a rounded, smooth fall off on the shoulder to the grind down to the edge of the knife, but that's just a guess on my part. So in terms of third place on performance, I'd probably put the Yuki here. We're not talking big differences again. Don't get freaked out about that. Any of them would be great choices for you. Again, my overall favorite was probably the Megumi, just overall performance and handling. The Anryu's like right there, but we're splitting hairs here. They're all really great knives. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. So if you place a premium on a thin tip, the Anryu is your guy. If you still want all stainless and you want a pretty similar all stainless version to the Anryu hammered, the Megumi is almost like an all stainless version of that, although it's a bit more expensive. And then the Masakage is a great cutter as well. Overall, it didn't do quite as good as these two, but still, overall performance, it's very good. And it's got that nice Najiji pear finish if you don't like the hammered look. So they're all three great. Pick your flavor and go to town. Great knives. So Anryu hammered, blue number 2, Anryu-Megumi VG10, and Masakage-Yuki white number 2. Three great 210 Gyutos.